Assalamu'alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 1. We'll explain our discussion result about innovative teaching STEAM. Hello, I'm Dian Rahmawati as the first explanator. My student number is 7. What is STEAM? STEAM is an educational approach to learning that uses science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics as access point for guiding student inquiry, dialogue, and critical thinking. Susan Relay, STEAM learning helps students observe, investigate, innovate, develop curiosity and their imagination, ask questions, ponder how things work, and solve the problems that they face on a daily basis. The explanation will be continued by my partner Windu.
Hello, my name is Windu and my student number is 9. What is the aim of STEAM? The STEAM teaching learning methodology, which corresponds to English acronym for the 5 domain subjects. These are science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Aims to grant the development of transversal knowledge, in which the contents of each of these branches is not taught or learned in isolation, but rather is imparted in an interdisciplinary way that ensures contextualist and meaningful learning. So, the foundation of STEAM actually lies in inquiry, critical thinking, and process-based learning. Process-based here means the process when asking questions, rousing curiosity, and being able to find solutions to problems. The essence of STEAM learning is to make learners more creative in finding solutions to problems. STEAM education focuses on applying science, technology, engineering, and mathematics through art and design. STEAM can enable learners to link their knowledge in their fields of science, technology, engineering, mathematics together with the arts. With that, the STEAM science, technology, engineering, and mathematics learning methods has the aim of being one of the important key to the world of education invites the fourth revolution era. STEAM can encourage the development of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to be more creative. Therefore, educators must begin to prepare students to face technological developments that are so fast changing. Meanwhile, the need for human resources in the future that is needed to be able to think analytically and collaboratively. And the next will be Nurfaedah.
Okay, the next. My name is Nurfaedah. My study number 18. I want to tell about how to use STEAM, process and products. There are actually 6 steps to creating a STEAM-centered classroom. No matter what are you teach, in each step you are working about the content and the art standard to address a central problem or essential question. What's great about this process is that you can easily use it to help plan for the lesson as you can to facilitate the actual learning process in your STEAM classroom. Let's take a look at each step. Number 1, focus. In this step, we are selecting an essential question to answer or problem to solve. It's important to have a clear focus on both how this question or problem relates to the STEAM and the art content areas you have chosen. And then number 2, detail. During the detail piece, you are looking for the elements that are contributing to the problem or question. When you're observing the correlation to other areas or why problem exists, you begin to unearth a lot of key background information, skill, or process that students already have to address the question. And then number 3, discovery. Discovery is all about active research and intentional teaching. In this step, students are researching current solutions as well as what is working based on solutions that already exist. As a teacher, you can use this stage to both analyze the gaps your student might have in a skill or process and to teach those skills or process explicitly. And then number 4, application. This is where the fun happens. After students have defined deep in a problem or question and have analyzed current solution as well as what still needs addressed, they can begin to create their own solution or composition to the problem. This is where they use the skills, process, and knowledge that were taught in the discovery stage and put to work. And then number 5, presentation. Students have created their solution or composition. It's time to share it. It's important that the work is presented for feedback and as a way for expression based on the student on perspective surrounding the question or problem at hand. This is also an important opportunity to facilitate feedback and help students learn how to give and receive input. And the last thing, this is what class is developed. Students have a chance to reflect on the feedback that was shared and on their own process and skills. Based on that reflection, students are able to revise their work as needed and to produce an even better solution. Here's an example of implementing STEAM in the classroom.
Science is a vocabulary-intense subject that is dependent on students learning new and increasingly complex vocabulary to deepen understanding and help make the connections between and among concepts. The more opportunities students have to interact with the vocabulary, the better they comprehend the concepts.
A Realia wall is a vocabulary-rich resource where scholars know they can look at it to check if they need help with vocabulary. It helps the scholars build their background knowledge and connects their learning to things that they already know. It's much more interactive and engaging than a regular word wall that just has the words listed. For example, in my class, scholars were able to interact with the objects before we hung them up on the wall.
The one that you put in your mouth and it'll take a temperature?
Today in class, I had the kids sit in a circle with different tools and objects in the middle. I had them partner up, and they were able to observe and investigate the tools with their partners and discuss what they thought the tools were and what they were used for. Friends, today, we get to investigate some new tools. We get to observe with our eyes and our hands and think about what these tools could be used for in the world. I have some sentence stems on the board back here that could help you if you get stuck when you're talking with your partner. Before scholars talked with their partners about each object, I introduced the sentence frames and had them read each one with me. These are some sentence stems you can use if you get stuck talking with your partner about our new tools. Read them with me. I see a lake. I think it is used for lake. I notice lake. It reminds me of lake. This is a lake. It is lake. It has lake and lake. Sentence frames provide scholars with a scaffold for using academic language. Sentence starters are similar because they provide the framework to begin a sentence. Sentence frames are critical because they provide the structure for a complete sentence. After they picked up the objects, they were able to discuss with their partner what they thought the objects were and describe what they were seeing. It was really cool to hear them connecting what they already knew with what the object was in front of them.
I think it's used for to put it in your mouth and see what's your temperature. I think this is maybe for coffee.
Some of the scholars thought that the hand warmer was a tea bag or something that you would make coffee with. So it was an interesting misconception. It was really cool to see them think through after observing that it was something warm and they knew that it had to do with weather.
It's hot and kind of warm. I see that it must be helping you when you're in the cold. And it must be called a hand warmer because it's really, really warm right now.
After the scholars investigated and observed the objects with their partners, I brought them back together as a class and had a couple of scholars share about each object. Is this one? Silent hands if you would like to share what you and your partner said about this tool.
I think that is something when you're at the doctor and you're sick.
This gave scholars an opportunity to share their thinking with the class and gave scholars who may not have known what each object was an opportunity to hear about what the object did and its name to give them that new vocabulary. This measures the temperature of the air, the temperature of the air. All right, so we're gonna add it up to our word wall. It's a thermometer. The Realio wall is a really helpful tool, especially for scholars who don't speak English at home. These vocabulary words can be a little bit trickier for them. So a normal word wall would just have the word on the board. The Realio wall pairs that real object with the word and makes it more accessible for scholars.
Realia walls are most effective as a classroom resource when they are maintained and updated regularly as part of the learning. Combining teaching strategies like a Realia wall and sentence frames helps students learn and comprehend new vocabulary.
The purpose of sentence frames is to provide English language learners the structure and the vocabulary that they wouldn't be able to produce on their own. Some of the examples of sentence frames we used were it is, it reminds me of, I think that it is used for. What do you think it is and what do you think it's used for? Check the board to use our sentence stems. Okay, Isa.
I see a clock. I think it is used for a wall.
The sentence frames help guide the conversation and provide scholars with a scaffold to build that complete sentence. It was so much fun investigating these new tools with you today. We will use these tools while we go through our weather.
When planning a lesson and determining which frames to introduce to students, the key is to think about the language and ultimately what you want students to be able to produce. Model that language explicitly and often, and make the language visible.
I love being a teacher because of the relationships I get to build with kiddos. It's really neat when you see a kid get it. You can see on their face and the excitement they have when they know that they're learning and their brain is growing.
Assalamu'alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi, my name is Isna Barokatun H with the last student number is 6. So, enhancing your curriculum with some engaging STEAM activities and projects can benefit students in a variety of ways, from increasing critical thinking skills to giving them hands-on, real-world learning experience in your classroom. Pairing STEAM with EFL can also appeal to a variety of learners, from reluctant readers to those with literacy difficulties or disabilities who may be more eager to participate when they are able to learn English. Through science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And the more you embed STEAM into your curriculum, the more you will find that the possibilities are endless. And also, STEAM can gain the forces of 21st century skills as collaboration, creativity, critical thinking, and communication. They are critical components to students' success in a rapidly changing workforce and society. Likely, these are easily woven into any quality STEAM lesson. This is where the active engagement really starts to shine, with students group creating original solutions and compositions and exploring questions from multiple perspectives. Using STEAM does not mean letting English language, arts, or social studies go to the wayside. You can use a STEAM lesson with those ideas because it's fundamentally built upon asking really good questions and then seeking solutions to the problems that are presented in those content areas. So, this is the final of our presentation, and I hope it's informative for you. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamu'alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.